What's up, guys? This is Tim with the Gutter Growth Podcast. I got Chris Johnston here. Me and Chris met at a convention, about a year or so ago?
Yeah, last February, I think.
Yep. So how you doing today, Chris?
Man, doing really, really good. Is my audio coming through good?
Yeah, I hear you perfect.
Cool, man. Good.
So, yeah, man. So when I was at that convention, you had a pretty fire speech about sales, and so that's how we got introduced, and so that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I appreciate you letting me come on your podcast and talk to your people. And all I want to do is just bring some value and help just get people to think a little bit differently.
So me and you were talking the other day, and we were talking about the NLP system. I guess that's I'm familiar with it because Tony Robbins was big on it, and that's kind of how he, did his whole venture, was all based off the NLP. But then you told me you got like a little different twist to it, and you came up with your own NELP. What's that all about?
Yeah, so I'm analyzing, Jeremy Miner's got NEPQ, right? And it's all about the neurological emotional persuasion questions.
Right.
And then Tony Robinson does a lot on NLP, which is neurological linguistic programming. And so I was like, so I do a little of both. And so when I analyzed how I actually sell, I use emotional connections and linguistic persuasion, not really programming, because what Tony does is a little different. Mine is just more for persuasion, more for just the sales technique, right? And so I was just sitting here and I was like, man, how can I help people? And it just popped into my brain. People don't need help. They need help. And that's my 2025 slogan. So it's NELP. It's neurological, emotional, linguistic persuasion. And it's nothing abnormal. You've heard it 1,000 times, but it's putting it all together in a very systematic way where you can connect on a deeper level, on an emotional level, using language to persuade people to make decisions that they're otherwise reluctant to make.
I like it. So you want to dig into it?
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Love to. So what do you want to know first? Kind of break it down. What are you looking for? Let me ask you a question. In the gutter world, what are some of the things, what are the top one or two things that gutter people struggle with when it comes to the area of sales?
I think a lot of them are afraid to ask for the right price, and they're kind of looking to their neighbor. What's this guy charging? And that's kind of how they're basing their prices off of, instead of, charging what they're supposed to and then backing it up with good sales.
Yeah. So the first thing I like to talk about is actual the neuro part. Everything about sales is about self-confidence. Me being a public speaker, when I speak to an audience, the one thing I want to convey to them is that your self-worth is worth more than what you actually think. So we got to raise the bar on what we actually believe about ourselves. And a lot of us have been pre-programmed by the societal system, by parents, by the world, by teachers, by other employers as we were growing up, friends, that I don't know that that's possible. I don't really know that. I mean, why does anybody need to make $100 million a year, right? You've heard this stuff growing up. And it's pre-programmed us to believe a bunch of lies that other people have created. And so we live in this weird bubble that we don't think we're worth more than we are. And it's a lie. And so the first thing you got to do is neurologically overcome that. You've got to become self-aware that you are valuable. You are literally made in the image of God. And you got to come to the realization God breathed breath into the life of a human being. We're the most powerful thing this side of heaven.
Yep.
God spoke into us. And there's 4 levels of wealth building things. And it starts down at the bottom where it's, just doing the thing, manual labor. Then there's implementation. Then there's communication. And then there's imagination. A horse is a horse.
So this is what I found.
Okay, so you're telling me my clogged gutters caused all this? I had no idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, most homeowners don't think about their gutters until this kind of stuff happens.
Wow.
Prevent unexpected and costly damage from clogged gutters. Protect your home with One Gutter Guard, the trusted solution for gutter protection. Call us today to find out why more homeowners are choosing One Gutter Guard.
A horse is a horse is a horse. A horse can't do anything but what a horse does. A horse can't build the barn that he stays in. But we can. We can imagine anything. Tim, you grew a gutter company, and next thing you know, you're running this stinking sales, this coaching thing with how to sell gutters, how to install gutters. You're coaching these people now. Who would have dreamed it 10 years ago, right? Wasn't even,
No, I wouldn't have thought.
No. And I just looked at your thing in Gutter Summit 2025. Man, the website's incredible. Who would have thought 20 years ago that you could actually fly drones over Atlanta and get pictures for your website? See, we have the ability to imagine. God didn't give that to animals. So people have got to understand what they're worth. Like, I know that was a long dissertation, but I felt like it was needed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Our price is priceless.
So they're not imagining their price where it should be because their self-confidence is low.
Yeah, because they've been trained to believe normal is status quo and normal's okay. In my life, normal sucks. I don't want to be normal.
Yeah. Well, I had someone ask me yesterday. He's like, Tim, all these guys around me are charging $5 and you're telling me you're going to charge 10 or 12. He goes, how do you even justify that? I'm like, because that's really what it's worth. And they're not factoring in, like, you got to be able to afford to have the money to have an office manager and to have an office and to have advertisement, to have all these things. Like, it's got to kind of be built into the price. And even if you don't have those things now, build into the price so that way you can afford those things. And, that way you could run that business that you're imagining.
Yeah. Well, and it comes back to the first thing we want to talk about is building trust. So let me ask you something. Who would you trust better? Just status quo now, just status quo, okay? I'm not asking what you can afford. Who would you trust better? The company that builds Lamborghinis or Chevrolet?
The company that builds Lamborghinis.
100%.
This screams quality.
Right. It's not what I can afford, right? I can't go get the Rolls Royce, but I would trust the company that had the Rolls Royce manufacturer over the person that builds a Honda Accord. Why? It's a car's a car. I mean, it's just doing the thing. But the difference is in how it's perceived. See, I had a buddy come off of a cruise ship the other day, and he said, Chris, we walked into this little retail store. It didn't know what it was. It just looked like a woman's store, and they're just selling little things. He's like, I really didn't even know what was in the store. But when we walked in, he said, the ambiance of the store changed everything. He said there's beautiful white, really comfortable looking couches and chairs. And sitting on the tables in front of these chairs are magazines with Rolex, Lamborghini, Ferrari. Immediately, he said, I didn't have to ask pricing on anything because I knew this store was for high rollers.
Yeah. The Lamborghini magazine's a giveaway, right?
Yeah, and the Rolex, like who walks around with $15,000 watches on? People that drive Lamborghinis.
Yep.
People that drive Porsches. People that live in, 6,000 square foot houses behind gated communities. We've got to build trust, number one, with the way we present ourselves. That's the first thing you got to do. I'll never forget a customer of mine, a prospect. She never was a customer. She called for a quote, and we did exterior cleaning. And so we went out, and my car's wrapped. I'm in uniform. My flyer and presentation folder matches my car. It matches my shirt. And I get out. I walk up to her driveway, and halfway through her driveway, she says, "Stop, just stop." Caught me totally off guard. I said, "Ma'am, is something wrong?" "Yes, I can't afford you." I said, hold on now. We haven't even went over the price. She said, "I know, but I know the way you're walking up here and the way you drove up here and the way you look, I'm not going to be able to afford you." I said, "Well, that's okay. Can we at least have the conversation? Would you be against that?" She said, "No, just know up front, I'm probably not going to buy because I can't do it." I said, "That's okay. That's not a problem." So we walked around the house, and I'm knowing she can't afford me. I know.
Yep.
And she said, "I'm just curious, kind of, what would this be like? Honestly, just tell me, like, cut all the fluff out. Just what would it really be if you were to do this?" And I think it come out to like $2,600 or $2,700 for what she wanted or what she needed that I was going to get her to want.
Yep.
And she said, "Listen, I can't afford it." I said, "But you have friends that can. How about you refer me to about 5 of your friends, and if all 5 of them buy, I'll come do yours for free." She's like, "Really?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. You can afford it. You just got to figure out a different way to pay for it."
Yeah.
So immediately I built trust, right? I'm mirroring her that she can't afford it. I'm mirroring that. I get it. I understand. I'm having empathy. I'm connecting. And then I just use a little bit of tactic to say, let's just refer me to 5 of your friends that could afford it. And if 5 people will buy, if you get 5 people to buy my product, I'll do yours for free.
Did you get some referrals?
Yeah, yeah. She started rattling off all kinds of people, nurses she knew, doctors, because everybody knows somebody that can't afford what you're offering.
Yep, that's true.
And so don't discount the person that can't afford it. Use it as a referral and a stepping stone to build a rapport and build trust that when they refer their friend's already going to buy, because a referral is like 85 to 90% close rate. I'd rather have the referral.
That's true. I closed almost every referral I ever got.
Yes. So how cool would it be to build trust with a person that might not can afford you? Don't lower your price for them, but get them to refer enough people that you inevitably give them the thing for free, because now they've become a salesperson for you.
Because you built trust.
Because you built trust.
People refer people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see this, we all know it, right? But we discount all these opportunities that are so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so second thing is communicating clearly. Your language should match the customer's sensory language. I'm a big proponent of DISC analysis and profiling people. I'm actually a certified trainer and consultant with John Maxwell's team. I'm a certified John Maxwell coach and public speaker. So in a lot of my sales presentations, I'm analyzing their behavior through DISC analysis, through what I know about DISC and understanding personalities. And so I'm going to mirror kind of what they're doing, and I'm going to figure out, number one, are they a high D? Are they very direct? Are they very decisive? Are they a high I? Maybe they're influential. Maybe, when you walk up to a high I, the first thing you're going to pick up on is if they're a fan of the sports club that's hanging on their little flag outside, they're going to tell you all about them. They got a new truck in the driveway or a new boat, or their grass is manicured. A high I is going to convince you that everything about their thing is beautiful because they want to talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
You can pick them up like you know who they are. The S's are about 76% of the population are S's. And they're just really steady, really, really cool, calm, collected people. They're really faithful and loyal.
Mm-hmm.
A good way to find out if an S is an S is, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, well, I work at how long have you been there? Oh, 42 years.
Yeah.
I just stay plugging along. You've never thought about leaving? No. They're really good to me. I love the people that I work with. I can pick it up just like butter.
Yep.
The high C, they're going to be really analytical. They're going to ask you questions like, hey, does the stuff you're using, we'll do it for gutters. Hey, when you get done with the gutters, I've got a dog. Is there going to be a lot of metal shavings in the grass, or do y'all actually take a magnet and pick up just so I don't want me or my grandkids or nobody to step on metal. I'm kind of fearful of that.
Yep.
Is it going to be too noisy? How long is it going to take? When they're asking all these detail-oriented questions, that's a high C.
I always did good with the C's.
Yeah.
Because then I would just start feeding them details.
That's all they want. So, like when all the salespeople, they just want to vomit all this information,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Well, I do win, yeah, with high C's. High C's love that, man. You talk to a C for 30 minutes and answer all their questions, they're going to buy from you.
Yeah,
they just are. I like a high D because that's my secondary language. My first one is I'm a high I off the charts,
mm-hmm.
and then my secondary is D. So I can walk up to a D and just be like, hey, Joe, here's what we're going to do, man. We got you on schedule for next Tuesday. I'm not even going to bore you with all this crap. Here it is. It's $3,845, but we can handle it next Tuesday. How's that sound?
They
and
just
it's
want
literally,
it done, right?
Huh?
They just want it done.
They just want it done. They don't care to know how long it takes. They don't care to go through the whole list of stuff you're going to do. They don't care.
They don't like the details.
They hate them. They despise them. And so when you actually communicate clearly, you hit the emotional neurons of a person's brain and you stimulate endorphins and all kind of things that happen where they actually connect with you emotionally and they understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And they love it. You can actually apply the love languages to this as well when you mix the love languages with the disc analysis of a person. And now I know they like words of affirmation or touch or quality time or whatever it is. When you mix those two together, it's very, very, very hard for a person to overcome that.
We sent gifts out to I got a Christmas lights business too. So I sent like nice cups out,
Mm-hmm.
and I could tell one of my customers was gifts for her love language because she came out to my guys and like talked about the cup like 5 times.
She's yours for life. I mean, she's in.
Yep.
And every year you give her a different thing. And I mean, she's in. She's not going anywhere. I don't care how cheap the next guy comes along. She will not leave.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's powerful. And so us as salespeople, it's our job to take neurological, emotional connection, learn how our customers click or to prospect, and get in line with what they want and the way they want to hear it. And like I'm a high I and D, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my worst customer, my worst prospect is a high S. It just is. I'm going to rub them wrong. I'm going to say too much, and I'm going to overtalk every time.
Which one is the S again?
That's the one that's real steady. that's
Okay.
real loyal. They're faithful. They love people, but they hate confrontation.
Yep.
They don't like to be aggressive people, rub them wrong. They will go like in a turtle shell and not come out.
Yep.
And so just that fast, I can turn an S off and I never will win that customer. It's over.
What do you try to do to,
So-
smooth it out?
One way you try to overcome that is by knowing who you're talking to. And so when I go to an S, I'm this high extrovert, in your face kind of, let's get it, baby, let's go. And as soon as I find out they're an S, I stop, I relax, I'll put my hand up. So Miss Jane, we'd love to help you today. And here's a couple ways we can serve you as a person, because we know how much you love your community and we know how much you love your home, your husband, your family. And so did you watch the video we sent you about how damaging water is to foundations of homes? Did you watch that video? That's a powerful video.
That's a good idea.
When we did gutter guards, we sent videos to every prospect before I got to their house about how gutter guards can change the life of your home and how our gutter guards were actually better than other people's gutter guards. That's like the video we had. And so Miss Jane, so that video, you know how damaging stuff can be, and you've got such a nice home. You see how I'm just kind of slowing?
Yeah.
I'm slowing my voice down. I'm slowing my countenance of my words, my cadence. I'm dropping my tone a little bit.
More steady.
It's more steady. It's more low tone. I'm pausing every second or third word, and I'm not being too aggressive. I'm just really trying to have a really common ground friend conversation. And I can only maintain that for about 15 minutes to 20 minutes.
Basement flooding, roof leaks, mold.
No. I have to clean the gutters.
Go back to sleep, honey. We installed one gutter guard.
Prevent unexpected and costly damage from clogged gutters. Protect your home with one gutter guard, the trusted solution for gutter protection. Call us today to schedule your free gutter inspection and estimate.
To 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then this high energy guy starts creeping
Comes
back
out.
in. And I have to be very aware, Tim, when I'm creeping in and creeping out. See, you have to have clear communication and understand who you are and who your customer is. And it's not about you. It's about the customer. So change who you are on the fly to mimic who they are so that you can connect more clearly and communicate more clearly to sell higher tickets at a higher close rate.
So you're just kind of identifying who they are and you're doing mirroring.
A lot of it is mirroring.
Yep.
But the problem is nobody takes the time to figure out who the customer is while they're talking to them. They're not listening.
What is the key things that you listen to or ask or look for to kind of get that information out of them?
So it's like what we talked about before. Like you talk about the sports team that's on the flag in the mailbox.
Mhm.
If there's no cue, if there's no pickup on that, okay, they're probably not a high I. If they were just like, yeah, the Eagles won, man, I'm glad. Huh? What? You're probably dealing with a high D.
Yeah.
You don't really care to get into all the talk, right?
Yeah.
They won. Thank God I won 10 grand on the thing. And they just kind of, what? Okay, this is a high D. A high I's going to sit there for 35 minutes and tell you 15 plays that he blew his mind and like, oh my God, did you see when they done this? Man, did you see when my home went down? Dear God. That's a high I. Like, I can just trigger and just let him go. And he's going to go. And the high C, they're going to ask the questions of worrisome questions. And you could ask a high C, hey, what do you do for a living? high C is probably going to be an accountant, a CPA, work the back end of an office doing Excel spreadsheets, numbers, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they love to do. And an S is probably going to be like an HR lady, an office manager. She's going to love people. She's going to be around people all the time. She's been at her job for 40 years and she loves it, no matter how boring it is to you, no matter how you could never stay there 40 years. She's a high S.
That's what my office manager's like.
Yeah. And so she'll be there till Jesus comes because she's just steady and faithful and loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And she's real sensitive. Her biggest fear is security. And so as long as she feels secure and nobody kind of always criticizes her, she's never going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really cool. And the next thing you do when you use language, you can actually guide decisions. So that's part of the third part of this is the language. So the emotional side is learning their personality, getting their love language, and you're emotionally connecting. And then the third part is the language. How do you use language? Words are powerful. The Bible says there's life and death in the power of the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
You can build people or you can tear them down. You can use language, and I'll give you a really cool example right here of language, and this is a really cool one. So a lot of people are going for yeses during their sales presentation. You've heard of the getting 100 micro agreements, and then you get the big one at the end?
Yep.
That works great from a stage. It does not work anymore in face-to-face sales. You might get a little bit of yeses. You might have a decent close rate. And so I'm not saying you can't use it, but if there was a better way, would you be interested in that? Would you be against learning a better way?
No.
Okay. So I just had to ask you two questions. One you said yes to, the other you said no to. Exact same question. Worded in two different ways. Did you catch it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you like to learn?
I read a book that was actually about getting to know, and it talked about the no's instead of the yeses.
And so people are so scared of no, Tim. I go for the no. I want the no. If this would have been back around in the 80s, she said no, that would have blew that all to pieces. This would be dangerous. Right, really, because no literally will mean yes, 100% of the time. And so here's a couple examples for your people as they watch this podcast. I want you to think about it. So when you ask a customer or a client, would you be against us signing you up for next Tuesday morning?
No, I wouldn't be against that.
Right. Instead of saying, can we get you signed up for next Tuesday? And because no is a comfortable word, it's a safe word, and it's a word where people feel very secure.
It sounds less pushy.
It sounds way less pushy. Way less pushy. So, all right. So think about this. When you get a phone call and I call you, ring, Tim. Hey, Tim, do you have a minute to talk? What's your first gut instinct?
No.
What do you want to talk about? How long is this going to be?
Yeah.
I don't know. But if I call this way, hey, Tim, is now a bad time?
No, that's not a bad time.
Okay. Couple things happen there. One is you've given me permission to have a conversation. Two, the way I worded that, if you were reading a paper, 95% of the time you will put it down and give me your full attention because I asked you a question that caught you totally off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And you think this might be important. Oh my God, what's up?
You think subconsciously people are waiting for the yes questions?
Yeah. Yeah, how many telemarketers do you get that say, hey, this is such and such. Hey, can I talk to you a minute? No, no. Hang up. No. Quit bothering me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's true.
So, you got to think about it in that realm that people are looking for you to back them in a corner. And if you take them out of the corner and give them liberty, they'll walk smoother.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say this. Does this make sense to you? You're looking for a yes response. So we just explained the whole gutter system, how it's going to work, why it's a big deal. Does that make sense? And you're looking for the yeah, and you're trying to get 25 yeses as you walk around this whole project. Instead of saying, is it ridiculous to think how good this is going to work? No, it ain't ridiculous at all. This is going to be great. You see, all you do is tweak it.
Yeah.
Do you want this as well? Hey, can we add this as well, right? And you could say this. Well, would it be impossible if we could add this extra feature on that would save you a ton of problems down the road? Would it be impossible to go ahead and do that too?
No, it wouldn't be impossible.
You're asking the same thing.
It almost feels weird to say yes.
It really does. And here's now with the phone call, let me go back to the phone call. So if I were to say, hey, Tim, is now a bad time? And you said yes, do I really want to have that call right now? No. No, not at all. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
And here's a really cool one. Have you ever been ghosted on emails and non-responsive from potential clients?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody has, right?
Yeah.
I have too. I'm going to give you a one-line sentence that will almost 95% of the time guarantee a response. Now, it may not guarantee the response you want, but it will get a response, okay? Like, this is gold here. Like, what I'm fixing to say is probably worth, the one sentence is probably worth $200,000.
This is the gold nugget.
This is a gold nugget. Question. In the subject line, question. That's all it says. When they open it, all it reads is this. And they can read it usually. You know how you can read the first line of an email without opening it?
Yeah, just scroll down.
Yeah, you don't have to scroll down on this because it's only one sentence. Have you decided to not do business with Gutter Summit 2025 ? Have you decided not to do business with Chris Johnson Leadership Services ?
So do you get some no's, but then you get what, some maybes and
but at least you get a response.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've emailed a customer 10 times and you've been ghosted, one thing you need to do is figure out, was it my fault or is it their fault? That question will answer that problem. So if they come back with an answer and they say, oh, no, we've just been super busy. I almost forgot about it. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, cool. Now you need to go into a different lane of questioning to get that done and settled and get your deposit.
That's a hot lead.
That's a hot lead. They just forgot about you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Pick it up, run with it, make the score. But if they come back with a thing that says, yeah, we have kind of changed course a little bit, and we went with a different company. Okay, cool. That's a whole different lane of questioning. Now you want to know, would it be too much to ask? What was your decision maker? What was the actual thing that caused you to make the decision? Would it be impossible for you to tell me what they may offer that we didn't offer? We'd like to better our company. And now you've got the customer engaged. Lose the account or not, you're going to gather a ton of valuable information when you word things like, would it be ridiculous? Would it be impossible? Would it be too much to ask?
'Cause otherwise, you just don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way you word that, they feel inclined to help you because you're asking it in such a way that no is actually a yes, favorable to you.
Yep.
You're not saying, well, what did they do that we didn't do? Something. But if you say, would it be ridiculous if you could give us a little bit of information, like what services did they offer that maybe we don't offer that we could help other clients with down
Set
the
them
road?
up with another no.
Yeah. Yes. Everything is setting them up for a no, and you're literally getting 10 times the value by asking no's.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
That's really good.
That's wild stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, it's good.
So another thing that we're about 35 minutes. How long do you want to go? 45, you said?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. So another thing that you want to do, and here's where a lot of people miss it, in the presentation, they don't engage. They don't use storytelling. They don't use sensory language. They kind of make it up on the fly, and that's always a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
Professionals know their lines. Amateurs wing it. That's a Myron Golden quote, by the way.
Okay.
So professionals, he's a professional coach and speaker. And so professionals know their lines. Amateurs wing it. I am all for canned sales presentations. Now,
What does that mean? What's can mean?
That means it's pre-packaged before you ever get there.
Okay.
You've put this thing together before you ever get the sales presentation sit-down call. Now, you have to memorize scripts. That's what I'm talking about. Memorize scripts. When they say no, I say this. When they say yes, I say this. You memorize your script, but you don't say it and deliver it as a robot. You're able to pivot. If this goes wrong, I can pivot. But what happens to salespeople is they've got a mindset of overachievement already because of the salesperson's persona.
Mm-hmm.
They think they've already arrived. I used to be that same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think I'm the biggest idiot in the room most of the time because I'm just trying to learn a ton because I'm not the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
I've just learned a ton of stuff from other people, and I was able to put it all together and make it work. And it's like not like none of this come from Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
This is stuff I've learned. Like there's nothing new under heavens according to the word of God. Like nobody's coming up with new things. We're just coming up with new ways to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We're putting two things together and getting a third option. So like this ain't new with me. Like I'm not the guru. I'm not the dude, trying to break your brain. I'm just giving you stuff that's broke my brain.
It's proven strategies.
Yeah, that's all it is. And so when you're in the sales talk, have 3 or 4 stories, little 1-minute stories that you can talk about Miss Elaine a year ago that was on the fence and didn't have the money. And she pulled the trigger anyway because she knew how much rain come in this part of the country. And she knew because she sat on this little bit of a slope that all that water was going under her house. And so she didn't have the money. She pulled the trigger anyway. It's like one of my coaching clients last year when he signed up with me. He said, Chris, I do not have the money to pay for you. I don't. But I genuinely believe after hearing you speak, this was at the place me and you met. He said, I believe God told me to sign up with you, and I don't even know what coaching is. I've never heard of coaching. He said, but I believe God told me to sign up with you. So by faith, I'm stepping out, man. And I'm just going to trust what I believe right. I said, okay, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And this year in January, last year, $8,000 cash is all he had to his name when January 1st come around. He bought the lighting launch tickets. He bought the Gatlinburg hotel.
Yep.
You know, he bought the event, and then he had to pay me, you know, up front for like 1 month. Like I just give him monthly
Doing a
payments.
lot of investing and learning.
Yeah. And so by February, Tim, he's broke, cuz, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This February, he's got $80,000 in the bank. And he asked me, he said, the questions this year are a little different. He said, this year, should we buy another truck or should I hire 2 more techs? I said, hire 2 more salespeople, get an office manager that can answer the phone and break people's brain when they call and emotionally connect. And then let's look at another truck. 2 salespeople, an office manager, and let's blow up the revenue.
Yep.
Let that buy another truck. Let's put some people on the road, beating streets, yard signs, flyers, EDDMs. And now when March, April, May comes, brother, this year we're looking for 1.2 million.
I always tell people, like, you know, first you grow and it causes more chaos, and then you got to put systems back in place, smooth it out, and then, you know, you got new problems.
You love it, don't you? Every new level, there's a new devil.
Yep.
So that's kind of engaging. You got to engage with stories, and you got to use sensory language. Sensory language is like, can you picture how this solution will fix that problem? Let us explore how this would feel if we actually put guards on your house, and when the rain was coming and you had to walk from here to your car. Can you picture how this would look and how it would feel?
Nice.
Sensory languages are, it's the 5 touches, right?
Yeah.
It's sight and sound and eyes and nose and smelling and feeling. And so when you use sensory language and you say, well, Tim, could you imagine how it would look if your wife walked out the front door and there was no rain coming down, and she could walk to her car, and even though she's got a little mist of rain between here and the car, she's not soaked, and she turned back around and look at you and know that you're the one that made the decision to put these guards on the house.
Yep.
How would that feel to know your wife looked at you as her hero that night? That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, man.
And Valentine's Day is next Friday. Or no, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Get her some gutters, right?
Yeah. So if we got these gutters up before Valentine's Day, you know, it's February 10th right now. You know, you got 4 more days, but we have an opening next Monday. Tim, I want to make you the hero. Let's go.
Let's do it.
See, you're using sensory words to connect to people with emotion, and you're using language. You follow that? This stuff is really cool. It just really is.
You writing a book on it?
Huh?
Are you writing a book on it?
I am going to write a book this year on sales, and I'm actually creating a 5-week sales course in this lane that I will have for sale hopefully in the next 2 months. I'm in the process right now of learning how to build a course and actually digitize it. You know, so this would be cool, you know, something like this for $297, and you can watch this course anytime you want and learn this stuff. And for $297, you know, or you can pay me $7,000 to take the course online. I don't care either way, or buy the $30 book. Either way.
Yep.
But do you think this could bring value to millions of people?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a yes question. You see how you can pivot back and forth, but I could ask the same question. Do you think it would be unreasonable if millions of people got value from this? No.
Definitely not.
No. See, every question can be asked in a no-oriented answer if you just give it a little thought. I just want to show you how to do it. Like, it's cool when you do it. So one of the next things we do is set clear goals. See, your customers are not goal-oriented people.
Mm-hmm.
Set clear goals for your customers while you're doing and walking and explaining the process to the customer. Kind of set the goal, set them up with goals, with language. So as we're walking around the house, you can say something like, Tim, when we come out next Tuesday to put these guards on the house, so it's supposed to rain next Wednesday. And so if, when we get these on next Tuesday, I'm pre-setting goals for the customer to trigger thoughts of, okay, next Tuesday. And he's already thinking, is my calendar open? He ain't even said yes yet. But I'm kind of setting goal-oriented things in his mind for him to kind of chew on while I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm making his subconscious mind say, is next Tuesday open?
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah. Is next Tuesday open?
Yeah.
I don't know. And you can use language patterns that have embedded commands.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever seen a speaker get on stage? I do this when I talk. I didn't back then, but I've learned a lot since then. So I'm a year older now and half more crazy because I've learned so much I don't even know what's up and down. But you ever seen a speaker get on stage and instantly connect by giving embedded commands into the speech and everybody in the audience do what he says?
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. You get them involved.
So here's how you can do it. Here's an embedded command. Hey, Tim, I'm Chris, man, with Gutter Summit 2025, man. Thank you for calling us. I appreciate you. Hey, could you step out and let's walk around and look at the house? There's an embedded command. You can ask it the same way with a no question.
Yep.
Hey, would it be too inconvenient if you could step out with me real quick and let's look at where the gutters are going to go in the house? No, it's an embedded command. I'm telling him what to do.
Which, by the way, is a big mistake if, you don't bring them out. That was, one of my main things that helped me in a gutter sales, getting them out and getting them involved.
Get them involved. And half the people that are on this podcast don't do that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, all right, go in the house. I'll knock when I'm done. And then you lose all that time to connect.
You lose all that time to figure out their personality, what they like, what they don't, why they called. You lose a ton, right? And so now when you're done, you're walking around the house, you're done. You come back to the front door. They're fixing to walk in. Here's another embedded command. Hey, Tim, I'm going to go measure everything and write the quote up. Which door would you rather me come in when I'm done so we can sit down and go over this? The front door here or the side door?
Side door.
Okay, cool. Side door. Cool deal. Give me about 20 or 30 minutes, okay? I'll see you in a little bit. And boom, I go do my thing, but I've embedded in his mind, I'm coming in the house.
Yeah.
This ain't a front porch talk. This ain't on the rail. We ain't on the hood of my car. I'm coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get to the door and you come in the door, you can put your booties on or take your shoes off. I don't care what you do. The next embedded command is I'm going to take charge from that moment. The moment I walk in that door, that customer is no longer in charge and they don't even know it. I'm telling you, I fully take over that entire conversation.
Yep.
And here's one way you do it. Hey, Tim. Yeah. Hey, let's walk over right here to the kitchen table and sit down. Man, there's papers all over. I know, but we can squeeze 2 spots for me and you, man. We'll just sit down and relax like old friends over a cup of coffee.
Yep.
You don't have to actually make coffee for me, Tim. But now if you got a little tea, that's all right. And we lighten it up, make a little joke, a little laugh. Hey, Tim, I come up with a deal, and we talked earlier, we were going to try to keep it under 10 grand. I was able to do that. Man, it was a lot of work, but Tim, I was able to keep it under 10 grand. Okay. He's like, my God, it better be under 10 grand. It is. Don't worry. Relax. Let's just sit down and go over it. So how's your wife, Tim? I'm getting him to open up about his wife, his life, his job. And for 30 to 40 minutes, that's all I'm talking about. Him, his likes, his wants, his desires, his dreams. And then I'm going to say, man, I almost forgot. Man, I'm here to say something. I'm here to serve you, And so I walk around the house and everything looks really, really good, man. It looks like this job is going to be okay. None of your soffits are rotted or messed up. They really look in good shape. So you've really done a really good job on your home. You should feel super proud of the home you have. I'm proud just to be invited in your home, man. It's an honor. It's an honor to sit with you. And so we've got everything laid out. And we did add some wide mouth gutter downspout inserts because you've got a lot of pine needles, and that'll help with pine needles because the mouths of the thing are 6 inches, wide instead of, the standard 2 by 3. And so we doubled that up. But it's not that much more. It's only a few $100. It ain't a big deal, but it will really help you with the pine needle problem that you have. We also put some extra extensions on the bottom. Man, they're going to be so much a game changer. This is going to divert the water, not only from here at the house, but we've actually diverted it like 6 feet off in the back where it drops. That's going to create a huge benefit for you. So there's no mud and puddles right where the gutter comes out. Okay. We've done all that for you for no big deal. Like, it ain't no big deal. I'm explaining the reason we did it and the benefit from it. And Tim, I know we didn't really talk about gutter guards, but with all the trees you have, man, cleaning those out it's going to be catastrophe for you. And I know you, man, you're a freaking rock star. You're a superhuman dude. You're going to try to do all this yourself. But Miss Mary, I got the sense from her that she don't really want you on ladders, bro. So I went ahead and put gutter guards on too. And so we got it all. It was only $9,245.
It's under 10 grand.
It's under 10 grand. And I have literally sold jobs like that, and it'd be $400 under the $5,000 weird price I give them. And it was $85.92. And they're like, well, at least you kept it under $5. I said, I did what I said I was going to do. I'm a man of my word.
No sign.
So, and the other thing is keep learning, guys. Just keep learning and growing and trying and test this stuff and try it again. And the good part about it, man, if you do it wrong, it's okay. Analyze it, tweak it, fix it, and do it again. And the more you do this and the more you build confidence with what you're actually selling, you're actually worth what you're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
The more you do that, what blew my mind on this week's call with that same guy out of Dallas, Texas, that I talked about a little earlier, one of his biggest takeaways from last year, he said, it feels normal now.
Because it probably felt weird at first when he changed his prices.
It did. He was scared to death. And he said, Chris, it feels normal now to ask for more every
He feels
other
worth
month.
that.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But see, you got to change your mind. And here's a little thing. The last thing I'll say is this. If you want to have the results you started your business in order to have, if you want to have those results, you've got to do things that are going to generate those results. And the only way that you'll ever do the things to have the life and the results and the dream you wanted are to become a different person that will do the things necessary to get the results. You got to be before you can do, and you got to do before you can have.
So true. So good.
Man, thank you for letting me come on. It means the world to me.
Chris, for those that might want to work with you, I know you do some coaching. You got some programs that you're coming out with. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can look us up on Facebook, Chris Johnson Leadership. I'm on LinkedIn too. You can email me, cjleadershipservices@gmail.com, or you can give me a call. I do give out my personal number. That may stop later in life, but right now it's okay. So It's 843-504-8035. And I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching. We have a 10-week sales course, and I have an AI system that's actually War Plan AI. I'm talking with Josh Latimer.
Yep.
So we have an out-of-the-box system there that kind of helps with numbers and marketing. That's like 3 or 4 programs that we have where we can help you level up. My only goal every morning when I wake up is to help another person fly higher, faster, with less friction.
That's a good goal, my friend.
I do what I do.
Yep. Love it. All right, Chris, I really appreciate you coming on here. And hopefully we might see you at the summit this year, huh?
That'd be wonderful, Bo. Yeah, get that link, and I will put my application in. I would love to be there.
Good deal. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, buddy.
Everyone, you have a good day.
See you.